She made herself comfortable, embracing the chair's back with her arms, and moved the candle so close to her face as possible. Once upon a time, in a village far away, lived a boy. Just a normal boy. He went to school, played with other children. There was nothing special about him. Okay. One day he made a bet with his friend that he wasn't scared to go to the abandoned house. Ulyana left a long pause. So, what was in that house? Don't interrupt me! Inventing it on the fly. She pouted her lips and continued. They say a witch with have lived in that house, and people still see her ghost there in the night. Nobody knew for sure, but everybody was scared. Dude. Diese Geschichte, die sie jetzt erzählt, die wird uns gleich am nächsten Tag, glaube ich, war es, ne? Nächster Tag? Ich glaube schon. Der wird uns da natürlich in eine witzige Situation bringen, wenn wir zu diesem verlassenen Haus gehen. The boy had said that it was all nonsense and he was ready to spend the whole night in there, so he did, but he didn't return in the morning. He was found hanged. Ulyana stopped talking again. Thrilling. Did he hang himself with his shoelaces? I said skeptically. She frowned again. Is that the end? Of course not. They buried the boy the way it was supposed to be, the coffin and stuff. His relatives and friends cried, but they couldn't bring him back. After a few days, people started to disappear in the village. Nobody knew how or why. They just vanished into thin air. The villagers wanted to call the police, but a friend of that boy, who hanged himself in the witch's house, told him that he will see the boy. Nobody believed him at first, but people kept on disappearing. Then the villagers decided to dig up the coffin. There were long nail scratches on the inside of the lid, but there was no body. Where did he go? Ulyana moved the candle away from her and made a scary face, or at least what she thought was scary. In the end, all of the villagers disappeared, and occasionally passengers by near the witch's house tell that they saw two ghosts. Ulyana blew out her candle and stopped talking. It looked like the story was finished. Wonderful! Jesus fucking Christ. I applauded. Not quite Pulitzer Prize worthy, but... Are you scared? Frightened? I'm just shivering all over. Or whatever. Tell your story then. I'm sure I won't even flinch. Oh girl. I collected my thoughts and decided to tell a story I had read on the blog of an acquaintance of mine a few months back. He was quite a good storyteller, at least I liked his style, so success was guaranteed. I certainly didn't remember the story word for word, so I told it with my own words. There's a faraway space station, the last boundary of humanity, located on the border with a hostile civilization, the third month of the ceasefire. It can't be really called a ceasefire, more like not a war. A small group of survivors is exhausted by a long siege. On one hand, they can retreat, leaving the outpost. On the other hand, they understand that they won't last even a minute if the enemy attacks. Despair is the best word to describe the situation. The food is running out. There's ammo only for a few shots, for a few shots, which will only seem like greeting fireworks. There's only plenty of air and water, owing to the regeneration systems. Diese Musik wieder. People didn't talk to each other for weeks at a time. They may just not see the point of wasting their time on communication while death is at the door. Or behind meters fixed station armor, to be precise. It is really better just to wait for the rescue or enemy's attack. Both outcomes will lead to the end of his torture. This situation looks like a chess game against an invisible opponent. It's the hardest part. Endgame. Any wrong move will lead to defeat, yours or your enemies. But does the enemy know about it? They may be afraid of making a wrong move too. Meanwhile, the humans may move the king, but only one square forward and then one square back again. Any other move will automatically lead to defeat. A step forward is an implied threat to attack, and a step backwards is a deliberate necessity of defense. The game would be much easier if the opponent was sitting in front of you. Even an experienced chess player can't hide nervous eye movements, the occasional drop of sweat or shaky hands. Und was ist bisher gruselig daran? On the one hand, everything is futile. Everyone realizes that the situation is hopeless, because no one will decide to make a move to escape the imminent defeat. On the other hand, when seeing the opponent in front of you, understanding that he is totally like you and can make a mistake, you can more easily stake everything. The opponent may feel the same difficulties. These are the circumstances of the few men and women on the edge of the universe. There were no orders from headquarters for several days. Though the last orders had contained nothing useful, only the usual demand to keep on defending. One square forward, one square backward, the swinging of an eternal pendulum. At the beginning of the 4th month, the commander decided to retreat. He reasons that he lived off his that the lives of his soldiers are more important than the mythical ideals of humanity. No one will judge him for this. Moreover, they can't change anything. The preparations don't take much time. The greatest asset you can save from a sinking ship is your life. The whole station crew aboard the rescue vessel. The launch sequence starts. 3, 2, 1, and nothing. The bay doors won't open. They send mechanics to check for malfunctions, but they don't find anything. The doors should open, but they don't open the second time, or the third time. The commander orders his crew to leave the station in rescue pods, but they can't launch either. They explain it as technical malfunctions. The crew tries to communicate with headquarters in vain. After a few days, the executive officer notices that there is nothing on the radars, nothing at all. No planets, no asteroids, no enemy ships. Just an endless darkness. They run out of food in a month. Everybody thinks that is the end, but no one dies, not after a day, a week, not even after a month. As if there is no need for food to sustain human life. At this moment, the majority of crew goes insane. Some of them just stay in their rooms and pray. Some wander around the station, some try to commit suicide. But neither a point-blank shots of plasma gun, nor hydrotank diving, nor even simply slitting their veins brings any results. Days pass by, months, or maybe even years. Nobody keeps track of time. Insane people recover their minds again, and normal people go insane. It repeats many times. In the end, the crew accepts its condition. They start to make up occupations, theatrical stations, sport tournaments, readings of self-written books. A lot of family couples appear, and many more broke up. It is an infinite flow of time, an enclosed loop of human life, and only the darkness on the radar reminds them of the emptiness outside. But there's an emptiness inside the station too. In the end, people stop living. They just lie in their rooms and sleep, not 24/7 at first, but as the time goes by, they learn to fall into a trance. Every person has his own dreams. One returns to his childhood. One returns to his childhood. One gets his lost love back. One defends his. Moment. Geh doch auf, du Fotzbob. Hier. Hallo. So, okay. Okay, jetzt geht's aber. Was haben wir hier? Geil. Komm. Kurz Nervennahrung. One gets his lost love back. One defends the ideals of humanity with a blaster in his hands. Some others just wander in space. Shabby from skirmishes with the enemy, a rescue vessel docks with the station. The boarding squad gets inside. The whole station looks like a piece of scrap metal which has floated in space for thousands of years. The reactor had shut down a long time ago. There were marks of the laser shots on the wall. The equipment was all smashed. They found decayed skeletons of people who died horribly, defending the frontier of humanity in almost every room. And only one cryptic message sent to the headquarters implied that something was wrong. Save us. We just want to die. Das war eine ziemlich coole Story. Also filmreif, würde ich sagen. Also nee, ohne Scheiß. Ich denke, wenn das als ein Film gemacht werden würde oder eine Serie, ich würde es angucken. I finished the story and looked at Ulyana. Her face was concealed by the darkness. So, that's the story. I blew out the light. Ulyana shrieked, rose up and threw herself towards me. We fell on the floor. Das ist cute. What's up with you? Nothing. Her voice sounded very scared. Looks like my story hit the jackpot. I mentally congratulated myself. Ulyana wasn't having fun though. She embraced me, shivered and sobbed. What's wrong with you, silly thing? I patted her head. It's just a story. It's not real. You and your stupid stories. Ulyana cuddled up to me more. Were you that scared? Yeah. Ich kann keine verschreckte Ulyana mit dieser Stimme machen. Frankly, I didn't expect such an honest answer from her. Everything's alright. Weil die Schauspielkunst wird nur noch schlimmer. Time heals all wounds. She will calm down. Listen, Semyon. What? Never mind. It's nothing. She buried her face in my chest. Minutes passed. Okay, I understand. Maybe we should go. Ich dachte gerade, Blut läuft aus ihrem Mund. What the fuck, dude? I listened. Ulyana snored quietly. Hey, wake up! Can you even fall asleep from fear? Wake up, I said. No reaction. I tried to stand up. Ulyana certainly didn't weigh more than 40 kilograms, but imagine yourself lying under such a weight. Schreibfehler. It's really not easy to stand up. You would think that Ulyana was dead if not for her breathing. I certainly could make more effort. But then I would wake her up and it all will start again. Such an unenviable situation. There is the option to wait until she wakes up herself, though. She certainly won't sleep all the way until morning after such a story. I looked through the window at the starry sky. I wonder if there really is a distant outpost with a ghost crew. My eyes slowly closed and in a moment I fell asleep. Suddenly, surprise butt sex. I felt warmth in my dream. It happens sometimes. You pray. Wieder ein Schreibfehler. Your brain is not completely awake yet, but you still feel the sun shining in your eyes, and when you wake up, you blink for some time to get used to the light. It was a wonderful morning. The birds were singing, the air was fresh and fragrant, and the world was bathed in daylight. I would stay in bed for some time longer, but something was not quite right. All yesterday's evening events flashed through my mind. Scary and not so scary stories. Ulyana, who was cuddling up to me tightly and snoring, not quite like a little girl would. But I didn't worry at all. After all, it's still early, surely no later than 7 or 8 o'clock. Who would want to go to the library that early? I sat back and looked out the window. In a couple of minutes the sun will hit right into Ulyana's eyes. That's when you're gonna wake up. It's interesting, how did she manage to hug me so tightly? How did she manage to hug me so tightly? Indeed, I couldn't free myself at all. Sorry. Bitte was? Bob Marley, der Ficker, hat gerade kommentiert. Mit bitte was? Aber was meint er denn damit? Hallo? Was ist schon wieder mit meinem WLAN los? Ich verstehe es nicht. Theoretically, I was ready to spend 1 or 2 more hours lying this way, but I suddenly heard footsteps. Ein Fehler ist aufgetreten? Oh, mein Internet ist... Hallo? Was ist denn mit dem Scheiße? Ach, leck mich doch am Arsch. Ach. Ich muss gleich den fucking Router neu starten. Sounds like trouble. Wake up, do you hear me? Come on, wake up! I started carefully, but insistently shaking Ulyana by her shoulders, tried to loosen her grip, but it was all in vain. Meanwhile, the footsteps were getting closer. I have to save us at any cost. Standing up seems unworkable, that's what I learned already, so I decided to crawl. My move strongly resembled reservist training, which I never attended, a soldier tracking his injured officer while under an artillery attack. The officer's unconscious, the soldier is exhausted, and layers of barbed wire surrounded them. Lol. Die haben, ja, ist gut. Die haben das extra gezeichnet, okay. I barely managed to crouch behind a bookstand and hide Ulyana when the library door opened. Zhenya was standing on the doorstep. She seems a bit overcommitted to her work, since she is coming in at the crack of dawn. Wait! I heard a familiar voice. Huh? A visitor? So she... What the fuck, dude? Oh, well. Tut mir leid, ich muss da gerade drauf antworten. So. So she indeed does have a reason to come here. Why couldn't... Was? Why couldn't she come yesterday or today, but later? Science waits for nobody. Science. It was electronic. Hold on for a sec, I'll find it. She headed towards us. I barely managed to turn Ulyana around so that she was on my back and crawled on all fours to a nearby bookshelf where I collapsed and tried to catch my breath. What was it? Cybernetic mathematics? Or mathematical cybernetics? What's the Unterschied? It seems she didn't notice us. I would like something about the electronics bombardment of photovoltaics. Are you crazy? Why would we have something military? That's not military at all. For some time they both were silent. Zhenya. What? Let's go down the river tonight. What for? Well, just... I have a lot of things to do. Come on, get moving, your robot is waiting for you. Okay. Oh nein! Wie konnte das nur passieren? Der Buttermeister wurde abgelehnt. Zhenya muss bestimmt Tattoos haben. Anders könnte ich es mir nicht erklären. The door slamming was like an epitaph for electronics love struggles. Seems like he's not a cold-blooded robot after all. I chuckled quietly. Anyway, Lauder seems a bit inappropriate. We have to escape the library somehow. Dude, sie pennt immer noch? Wie kann man denn so einen tiefen Schlaf haben? Aber genau das mit dem engen Umarmen und sowas erinnert mich irgendwie an jemanden, den ich kenne. Die ist auch so. Egal. Waiting until Zhenya goes back for breakfast seems to be the easiest solution at the moment. She's a communist lab, She's a communist lab worker after all, not one of electronics mythical robots. She has to at least eat sometime. Meanwhile, Ulyana wasn't going to wake up. At least she's not snoring anymore. The library was silent. I didn't see Zhenya, but was more or less satisfied with the situation. Nani? All of a sudden, incomprehensible noises came from her desk. Clicks, cracks, and music started. The Soviet anthem. Just great. It would have been alright if not for Zhenya, who started to sing along. United forever in friendship and labor. I could only envy her patriotic feelings. Unfortunately, she had some vocal issues. The Soviet pop scene definitely didn't miss out on a star called Zhenya. The anthem ended and an unfamiliar voice started to talk about the overachievements of a 5-year plan of crop harvesting. It was a radio, obviously. I started listening attentively. Maybe they would say something interesting. But after the list of agricultural achievements, the voice started to disappear and was gone for a few minutes. Signal disturbance, probably. Zhenya stood up and headed towards us. The situation's hitting rock bottom. I managed to unclench Ulyana's grip with a titanic struggle. I was free to go, but was so cramped from all the crouching that I didn't have the strength to get up. It's time to prepare for the worst and starting thinking of excuses. Suddenly, the steps stopped. Seems like Zhenya was standing on the other side of the bookshelf. I heard the sound of book rustling. Probably she's looking for something. She took a book and returned to her desk. The door slammed open. Semyon? Have you seen him? Olga was definitely out of breath. Ulyana? No. Zhenya answered with surprise. The door slammed as loudly as the previous time. Seems like everyone is looking for us, and Zhenya will start to look around the library. Ugh. But fortunately, that very moment the bell sounded in the distance, calling pioneers for breakfast. Zhenya, being a punctual person, decided not to linger and left the library in a few minutes. There was only me and Ulyana in the library. Then it was time to decide what to do with her. No longer afraid of being caught, I bent down and shouted in her ear. Wakey, wakey, Och nee, Mann, ich hab den Satz schon in Life is Strange gehasst. She instantly jumped and started to look around. Noticing me, Ulyana's eyes widened. What are you doing here? Playing at spies. Huh? Never mind, did you sleep well? Yes! Seems she's not completely conscious. Breakfast? Yes! We left the library. At last. Now it was certain that I won't have to Dude, I'll explain anyone the what, how, and why of Ulyana and myself being in there all night long. Sorry for falling asleep like that. It's alright. I guess my words sounded too insincere, but she looked at me with disbelief. Wait a minute. What were you doing in there all this time? You wouldn't believe me. Wait a moment. That means... Ulyana giggled, stepped away from me and shouted loudly. I'm the first for breakfast! Not a big surprise after such a deep sleep, I said, but Ulyana already couldn't hear me, being far ahead. It was unusually crowded near the canteen. Of course, there was no other place in the camp that pioneers loved as much as the canteen, but why were they all crowded on the porch? I came closer and tried to find out what's happening. Kennen wir das nicht schon? Ah, doch, ja. Das ist wiederum neu. Where on earth have you been? I waited for you all night and have been searching since early morning. Ulyana told me that you left the library to get it yesterday. Diese bitch. I looked at Ulyana. She was grinning acrimoniously. Was heißt das denn schon wieder? Well, we'll deal with this later. Have you seen Shurik today? Zoom. But I was stopped by Olga. And you, Semyon, please stay here. Yeah? Would you care to explain where you've been all night? Well, this is the thing I hadn't thought about. True, this could have gone by... this couldn't have gone by unnoticed. I could have thought of some clear explanation at least. But I hadn't. Well, me and Ulyana were placing the books in the shelves, but then she locked me there and ran away. I was stuck in there until morning. I was at the library today, and I didn't see you there. I'm kind of aware of that. Well, I left quietly. And why is Ulyana telling me something completely different? What might that be? You know what her story are like. Yes, you might be right. The camp leader paused for a moment. Just don't think this means I believe you. Auch jetzt hatte ich ganz Tsundere. I didn't think that. Okay, we'll deal with this later, I won't forget. It's more important to find Shurik now. Yeah. Dismissed. Zip zip. Okay. Das war jetzt ziemlich lange. Forest, Unclothed Electronic. Wir waren noch nicht im Forest. Deswegen gehen wir da mal hin. Obwohl, nein, doch, wir haben es schon gesehen, ne? Ja, doch, stimmt. Egal, wir gehen noch mal hin und gucken uns den Buttermeister in großer Form an. Okay. Ah, wir können in unser Haus. Was gibt's da? Take a walk with Slavia. Let's lock Sammy in house. Ah, das hatten wir ja schon, okay. Was sich aber irgendwie unnatürlich anfühlt, wenn wir jetzt von ihr eingeschlossen werden. Könnte zum Busstop zu Miku, aber ne. Das ist das alte Gebäude. Da sind sie hingegangen, um Shurik zu suchen. Das ist direkt am Wasser. Ja, komm, egal, wir gehen zum Boothaus. Das mit Slavia können wir in der Slavia-Route machen. Because you're a loser. And why is that? Because you're afraid to compete with me. When? When we played cards. What a serious reason. Yeah, maybe I should apologize to you. I asked sarcastically. Screw you. Well, here we go again. Just asking. Okay. Ah! Maus. Ich verstehe aber nicht, wie man sich so verarschen lassen kann. Wir essen den Apfel doch immer noch nicht. Hey Miku, lange nicht gesehen. Allah Akbar! So, jetzt kommen wir zum interessanten Teil. Und da wird jetzt erstmal wieder Colorado durchschippt. Oh, eine Ananas. Hey, die haben die Ananasform geändert. Cool. Ham. Ohne Witz. Früher habe ich die Ananas-Teile nie gemocht. Aber inzwischen finde ich die mega geil. Auch wenn ich in echt Ananas überhaupt nicht mag.